You can swim. Wait, you mean you tell me you can't swim?
You can't swim? Oh no, that's a bad trait to have in Mezro. Very bad.
You know it's bad when the car mechanics take floaties with him to work.
That probably won't go off well in Mezro either.
We always find the best times for you to randomly come back into the conversation.
But welcome everyone, welcome. It's time for yet more delving into the mysteries of Mezro. And we've got a bit to do today, so let's jump right in. Last week, you made contact with Ava's tribe of Aarakocra at the remnants of the Royal Aviary in Mezro. Upon hearing that you had slain their foes, the Metal Sabatons, they hailed you as heroes, inducted you into their family as honorary members, gave the poor priest whose remains you brought back a proper burial, and granted Ava the position as Oracle of the Great Mudmore Crocodile. As a reward for helping them prevail against their enemies, the Great Wise Owl, the leader of the tribe, informed you of a secret passage that you can use to get into the Temple of Ubtao without having to brave the dangers of a direct approach, without having to blast your way in as Broken Barrel intended, setting off countless numbers of traps and magical defensive systems. And so, we shall begin the session today by letting you all take a short rest after last session. So if anyone would like to recover HP before heading off into the dungeon, you've been granted a short rest as you recover, catch your breath in the Aarakocra village, and are treated to a traditional Aarakocra meal of primarily roasted insects and nuts and tropical fruit, all arranged in a hodgepodge mix in a large communal bowl that you all eat from at the same time, tentatively dipping your fingertips into this sludge and picking out little bits and pieces that look appetizing, but not really fully availing yourself of the meal.
Zinhorn's used to roughing it, growing up in the bushlands.
Yeah, Zinhorn's fine with it. He's probably chewed on a few insects before.
Yeah.
Robert is just spending the entire time we're resting, just gushing over the fact, just doing the whole, the wise old owl, I know him, he knows me, that means these aren't just random memories in my head, these are actually mine, I exist, which means, oh, wow, I'm like 200 years old. How am I alive?
Robert's having an existential crisis.
How am I alive? What the what?
Most of you are just, trying to enjoy the meal, knowing you'll need every bit of energy you can get for what's to come. Bobbitt's having an existential crisis as she realizes that she is technically a 222-year-old in the body of a 22-year-old with the mind of a 12-year-old. And Sir Lucian is just probably looking at this quote-unquote meal with just the look of apprehension and disgust on his face. Am I right, M1?
I would think so. Hey, quick question, do I still afflicted by the death plague?
Yes, in fact, after last week in which...
oh no, I should have said anything.
After the events of last week in which Ava was granted a vision by the Great Mudmore, which allowed you to learn the identity of the one behind the death plague, your death plague has reached level 2, which means that you now have a permanent minus 10 to your max HP, and in addition, yeah, I know, but
it's just fussy.
Yes, yeah, no, he's not groaning from the death plague. He's just groaning at what they call food that they've given him. And in addition, It has been at least 12 hours since you were swarmed by mosquitoes upon entering Mezro, and the effects of your shivering sickness have begun to manifest, meaning that when you take a short rest, you only gain half the HP you roll from a hit dice.
Probably should have mentioned you had that there,
Yeah.
champ.
Do we notice this, or...?
Yeah,
It's very noticeable.
Actually,
Very noticeable.
you're noticing that
Wait,
you're,
would lesser restoration...
Yeah, I've got lesser restoration.
you're noticing at this point that Sir Lucian he's sort of pale in the face, so this could be either from illness or the fact that he's just disgusted due to the food he's been given and
He still has
the...
He's totally different. Ego tripping bad.
He still has to admit that he's in trouble and needs help before.
Yeah, but he's kind of just sitting there and he's shivering and his bottom lip is drooped over and he's just going as involuntary spasms shoot down his limbs to his extremities. And Zinhorn, I'll allow you to make a medicine check, please.
I was just looking at him, just going, huh, what is that called out here? Just sitting there in shorts, just absolutely fine.
That is a 21.
So, Zinhorn, you do notice that this is more than Sir Lucian's usual disgust, and it's more than the Death Plague. He is, in fact, currently in the peak period of shivering sickness, which he likely contracted from the mosquitoes a day earlier. And he's definitely having a hard time getting any benefit from this short rest.
So I'm going to attempt a lesser restoration to see if that improves anything.
So you place your hand on Sir Lucian's chest plate, and you cast Lesser Restoration, and you feel the magical energy move from your hand into his body. And Sir Lucian, your insides that are squirming and reeling, and these involuntary spasms that keep taking control of your body, seemingly instantly cease as Zinhorn places his hand upon you. And everyone else, you immediately see colour returning to Sir Lucian's face, or at least what colour remains now that the telltale signs of the death curse have begun to spread from under his armour onto the top of his neck and slowly crawling across the bottom of his face.
Hooray, he's dying less.
But now, your shivering sickness is cured, and so you may take a short rest. And after the end of last week, you have taken 12 points of damage, so you might want to spend at least one hit dice to try and recover that.
I shall expend my hit dice.
Yes, and you may gain the full benefit of it.
On roll D10, I think.
1d10, yep, and you add your constitution modifier to that, so that will be 4 plus your constitution modifier.
This is 4. So
yes,
that's an 8 points.
Yeah, so you're down 4 points from your maximum at this point.
Oh, that's brilliant. I'm only kind of dying.
Yeah. Is there anything that anyone would like to do before you finish up with your meal, bid farewell to the Aarakocra, and journey to this secret passageway?
Still staring off into space at realizations.
Yeah, that's certainly fair enough.
I don't suppose that the Great Owl has any information he could share about where we're going that he hasn't already?
Well, you briefly ask him while everyone else is eating. Of course, you finish your meal quickly because this is traditional stuff for you, and you've actually been kind of missing this kind of fare. So you quickly finish it up, and you just ask the wise owl about the place you're going, and he simply informs you that nobody has been inside the Temple of Ubtao since Mezro was populated, and as such, all he can tell you is that somewhere within is Ubtao's library of knowledge, which probably contains the answers you seek. With regards to traps or other defences, he's not certain what you'll find, though he knows you should bypass a fair chunk of it by taking the secret passage as your way of entry.
Cool.
So
So we should be expecting lots of dead things, probably.
He just looks at you and then he silently nods and he says, "The undead do tend to gather in long abandoned, tainted holy places. There may even be those who once served Ubtao still trapped inside, eternally in service to their god, their duty twisted into some vengeful bloodlusts. I would certainly be on your guard."
A cleric would be really useful around now.
Unfortunately, you don't have one.
No.
Dear.
And so, you thank the wise owl for his advice, and you return to the cage hut where everyone else is trying to pick away at what's left of their meals. And they all stand up as you enter and stretch and make sure their gear is ready to go. And you all nod to the Aarakocra who are in attendance, and as you walk towards the gate of the aviary, you hear a voice shout, "Bye, Ava! If you find any shinies, bring them back! I want to take a look at them!" And it's Emberon Coalscuttle. He's just standing at the entrance to the Wise Owl's personal hut, just waving his brown wing widely at you, his beak twisted in a gaping smile. As he
You know the
watches you all
shinies
leave.
aren't real.
He just, as you pass through the gates, you just hear him shout, "I don't care!"
Your friend is fun.
And so,
And then I'll
Yep.
I'll leave him 10 gold shinies.
you reach into your coin pouch, you pull out 10 gold pieces, and you leave them on the pile of hay next to the gate that serves as his guard post. So when he returns to his guard duty, he will see them and no doubt have the shock of his life.
Just somewhere in the jungle, somewhere in the city, we'll just walk away and just do this.
So, Ava, you, having been gifted knowledge of exactly where the hidden passageway is, are able to lead the rest of the party through the royal quarter of Mezro without having to rely on Bobbit or your guide for directions, as the Great Mudmore has gifted you with divine knowledge.
Hooray!
And so soon enough, you find yourselves stepping out of the waterlogged maze of streets, and before you see what appears to be a house like all of the others in this part of Mezro. A large square building seemingly constructed out of white stone and marble, with a golden dome serving as a great ornament on the roof above you. However, unlike all of the other buildings that surround you, that are covered with grime and mud and creeping plant life, this particular house is in immaculate condition. If you didn't know any better, you would think that these stones had been polished mere hours ago, and it almost looks as if someone still lives here to this day. The door is currently shut, the blinds on the windows are drawn, and the building is silent. What would you like to do?
Good question.
Could Bulb spend 10 minutes casting Detect Magic on the house?
Yeah, sure, you've got time to do that. So you
While he's
just
doing that, can
Yep.
I sort of just have a looky for any traps?
have any
Although
traps?
we should be fine.
Yeah, you
but
should be fine. You'd think that the Mudmore would have told you if there were any traps here specifically. But you could still, if you would like to check, you could go ahead and make an investigation check.
I like to investigate things.
I love that there's 2 parties on the screen.
Oh,
Oh, there is? Interesting.
Yeah, there's one from last week.
Oh,
when we were
I
at the
see. Yep.
Colosseum.
Bye bye. Yep.
Holy- yeah, just noticed.
I only got a
now.
9.
A
And
9.
you want me to have a look as well?
If you like,
Sure.
Bobbit, you could go ahead and make
enough,
one.
had enough time to get out of my fun stupor. What's 1 plus 4? That's 16.
So, Bobbit, you and Ava both fan out, just move around the perimeter of the building, take a look to see if you can find anything suspicious, and from what you can tell, there do not appear to be any obvious traps. There's an open window around the back of the house, well, a window where the blinds aren't drawn, and peering through the immaculately clean glass, you see inside the house what appears to be a fairly normal, welcoming home with fully furnished, all of the furniture in good condition, the floors and walls clean, but nothing that indicates that there's anything dangerous inside. Meanwhile, Bulb, while they're doing that, you sit down and you prepare a ritual to cast Detect Magic, and when Ava and Bobbit return, you cast the ritual, and you determine that there is a great aura of illusion magic essentially surrounding this entire building, extending out about 1 to 2 feet outside of the building itself. And when you take a look at this small area that extends outside of the building, you see that the grass and gardens out the front and back of the house appear to be perfectly maintained.
Well, everyone, it seems that the only magic here is to make this place look immaculate. We may as well enter.
Yep. And so you step forwards and you place your hand on the marble doorknob and push the great wooden door open. And on the other side, you see a very welcoming looking lounge room with an expensive looking green and blue rug taking up most of the floor. Underneath it, the cobblestone floor is clean, seemingly not a speck of dust on it. And the sides of the room are lined with leather and silk upholstery, all of which appears to be, just like everything else in this house, in perfect condition.
You
know-
it doesn't look anything like that, but it's still very pretty.
Yes, well, for you, Bobbit, this sort of looks a bit more how you remember Mezro, but it's still not entirely like it. It's almost as if this particular house was marked in some way to make it different to all of the other buildings surrounding it, even when the city was in its prime. And as you step into this room, you all notice at the very back of the room, just beside a mahogany reading desk, is a large black wooden bookshelf that spans the entire height of the building, from the floor to the roof above. And it is filled with seemingly hundreds of books, all of their spines of different colours, essentially creating a wall of chaotic colour in front of you.
If it were physically possible, Bob would have stars in her eyes right now looking at this.
Ava, it is at
It's not
this
a problem.
point when you see Bobbitt's eyes grow wide and Bobbitt's body just shake as she notices the bookshelf in front of you. You hear the voice of the Great Mudmore in your mind. And he says, "Light as the sky, not as the sea."
Okay.
You stare at the
That's
Classic Mudmore.
You stare at the bookshelf in front of you and find that there is at least one book of seemingly any colour you can imagine. From dark crimson to bright red, yellow, orange, various shades of green, black, grey, deep blue and a deep blue and a light, a lighter almost whitish blue.
I'll take that one.
Right? Walk up and you grab the light blue spine and pull the book out of the shelf. And as you do, the book disappears without fanfare, as do all of the others in the shelf.
Sorry
Then
about it.
you hear a loud mechanical click, and the shelf begins to vibrate as it slides to the left, revealing a heavy-looking iron gate on the other side.
See,
Xenon's just impressed.
Sorry to Bob. I was just sitting there going, I know what I want. What's just doing? I know what I want for the bar when we get back home. Secret door downstairs. Secret bookshelf downstairs.
Yep, secret bookshelf downstairs for Bobbit.
I'm sure that we can afford to implement that.
So who would like to try the gate?
Me.
Yes, Ava, you step forward
It seems
and
like the most logical choice.
grab hold of the big iron ring that serves as the gate's handle and you pull it. The gate rattles but does not budge, and it is at this point that you notice a large, rather intricate looking keyhole just above the handle. But as far as you can recall, you were not given a key.
God damn it.
While Ava's doing this, Bulb remembers something and would like to pull Sir Lucian aside.
Go ahead, pull him aside while the others contemplate the lock.
When we entered the city, we had an encounter, and we found this adamantine plate armor.
Ah, yes.
And you seemed a bit out of it at the time, being that you were being played by Dale.
And
So,
And also sick from all the
and
mistakes.
also sick.
Yeah,
Oh, pardon me.
yeah. Well, yeah. That's the in-canon version anyway.
Yes. So I took the liberty of procuring this armor, and would you like it?
So,
Um,
M1, Sir Lucian, if you accept this adamantine plate armor, it will not increase your armor class, but it will grant you resistance to critical hits. Meaning that critical hits on you will just deal normal damage.
but I'll still stay the same armor class of like 21, I think.
Yeah.
No, 20.
Yeah, all it will do is just give
If you take a crit,
resistance to critical hits. Yeah. So, will you accept
Oh.
that?
I look at him and say, "Thank you, lesser human." Still trying to maintain his ego. I appreciate this most validly.
You
It will
see
be
as
rewarded
this,
in the
you
afterlife.
see as this 2-foot-tall owl puts his bag of holding on the ground and pulls out this human-sized plate armor and passes it to you.
So Lucian immediately begins to doff his existing plate armor to replace
You mean
the
struggles?
team.
Hussy and death.
And you all get a glimpse of what he looks like under the armor. And from what you can see underneath his immaculately tailored, form-fitting day clothes, it appears that almost every visible inch of his skin has turned grey and leathery, with cracks running through it as if it is stone about to crumble.
Oh, look so fancy in
It
this.
isn't entirely pleasant.
So Lucian,
Thank you, Remy.
takes you about 5 to 10 minutes, but you eventually get the adamantine armor on, and catching a glimpse of yourself in the glass of the window, you do look pretty dapper in this new suit of armor. So, Bobbert, would you like to attempt to use your thieves' tools to pick the lock on this gate?
Oh, I suppose I can. I mean, I'm going very far without it. Ugh, that's only a 7, unfortunately.
You insert your thieves' tools into the lock and jiggle them around a little bit, but you can't quite attempt to find the catch that the key would activate. And so you pull your thieves' tools out and just shake your head at everyone else, disappointed.
Well, I suppose homegrown locks were made a lot stronger than others. Any other ideas?
I would like Ava to do a nature check, please.
Sorry.
That's okay, kitty.
That is a 16.
The Mudmore's voice echoes in your mind. One need only ask kindly.
Open, please.
And as you say this, the gate clicks and of its own accord begins to swing open, the creak filling the small lounge room. And on the other side, you just see a narrow stone tunnel that descends down below you into the earth. It seems to stretch on as far as your eye can see.
I was just looking at the door going, I wish I'd known. All it took was to say nice. I could have done that.
As if offended by your words, you see the gate just twitch and the ring handle just flap, almost as if the gate is threatening to shut you out.
Bo just puts her hand up and going, sorry, look, it's I haven't been home in a long time, this is sort of a big deal, sorry, little...
Sorry,
emotions
sentient
going on
gate.
right now. Sorry, Mr. Gate, I'll leave you be. It's a very nice gate, though.
And so, as the gate holds itself open, you all descend into the passageway. And once you're all in, you hear the creak of iron once again as the gate swings shut behind you. You follow the passage, walking through it for what seems to be at least an hour. Above you, the streets and buildings of Mezro passing unnoticed as you walk silently, uneventfully down this narrow corridor, until finally you see stale, dim light pouring through an archway at the very end of the hallway, where a ramp arcs upwards. And so, steeling yourselves for what awaits, you pass through the archway, move up the ramp, and enter what you assume to be the Temple of Ubtao. Here we are,
Here we go.
the Temple of Ubtao.
Where's the-
You have entered through the secret passage to the south, what was previously a narrow, smoothly carved stone tunnel eventually gives way to what appears to be a natural chasm in the earth, the smooth walls turning into jagged, uneven stone cliff faces. And your footsteps begin to splash as you step into a shallow puddle of water that comes up to about the first centimetre of your boots. At the end of the chasm, you could see a carved square doorway leading into a room ahead, seemingly your only choice to progress for now. What would you like to do? Anything you'd like to do before you enter, or would you like to move straight in?
Check for traps.
Check for traps. Go ahead and make an investigation check, please, Ava.
13.
13. You notice that across the threshold of the stone door, there is a hairline thin, straight line crossing from one edge of the door to the other. It doesn't give off the normal trappings of any kind of booby trap, but at the same time, seeing this otherwise pointless single straight line carved into the stone floor, exactly at a point where you would have to cross over it, seems very suspicious.
I shall inform Bobbit. This seems like a job for you, Bobbit.
Very well, Bobbit.
Okay, hopefully this door is friendlier than the last one. Well,
What
I suppose
would
I should
you
be
like
friendly
to-
to this one.
What do you want to do? Just stick your thieves' tools in the...
I would
Stick-
suggest
No,
an Arcana check.
I was gonna say yeah, an Arcana check's probably the way to go. We're not messing with anything potentially. Well, I'd rather not poke at anything potentially dangerous.
Very
Last
well.
door,
Please make an Arcana check.
Holy shit! That's a nat 20, so that's 30. Oh Jesus!
There's your nat 20 for the day.
You notice
I said that, but I had 3 last week.
You notice that this may perhaps be some kind of magical trap. There is an aura of magic seemingly emanating straight up out of the line, forming an invisible wall in the doorway. And after studying it for a bit, you determine that it is most likely transmutation magic.
Oh. But it's just, spends a minute or two just doing the whole humming. Then goes, just very, very all excited. Oh, and looks back and goes, this is, well, I'm not quite sure what it actually does, but apparently it's transmutation magic. So, that could be interesting. Does it activate if I step over it? Would it activate only if I step on the line? How does this work?
You're not entirely sure. All you know is that there seems to be kind of an invisible wall in the doorway, meaning that passing through the doorway would mean that you would have to step through this field of magic.
And this is the only way in, correct?
Yes.
And-
I don't believe anyone knows to spell magic yet, so this is kind of,
Can Bulb throw a rock through?
Yes, Bulb. You pick up a rock off the floor, and
I want to step back.
does everyone else?
Yeah.
Do
Last time I did this.
I was gonna say, do I actually see him go to pick up the rock? Because I'm like staying right next to this thing. As I'm
Make
examining
a perception check, please, Bobbit.
it. Oh shit.
You shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, I know, but it's a 12.
Yeah, you see Bulb bending over and lifting a pebble about the size of a tennis ball off the ground.
No, what's the rock for it? Oh, wait, no. Just immediately backs off from the door.
So everyone's backing away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salida and
Yeah.
Mujarib silently step back with the rest of you as Bulb hurls the rock through the door. There is a flash as the magical trap activates, and the rock instantaneously polymorphs into a small newt that flails its limbs helplessly as it flies through the air and then lands on the stone floor on the other side, rights itself, and then scurries away.
Did I just give a stone sentience?
Yeah, you gave a stone life. Congratulations.
Bulb picks up 20 more stones and chucks 20 more stones through the door.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, the next stone you throw does nothing. It appears that the magical trap, now activated, is inert.
Okay, I put 20 stones in my pocket.
Walking away going, fair enough. And Bob just watches the lizard go away and just goes, Mazel tov, it's a boy.
Are you guys...
I'm picking up 10 stones.
Yeah, just throwing them in your pockets.
That's probably a good idea.
Are you guys ready to move into the room?
Oh, sure, why not? We took care of the
Sure.
main trap on this list. Yeah.
Revealing the room.
As ready as I'll ever be.
You step through the now inert magical doorway, and on the other side you find a large number of crates and barrels scattered about this area. Rats scurry here and there, having burrowed their way into large bales of mouldy barley. A large pile of debris from an apparent cave-in blocks the way to the north. There is also a door to the right of you, leading into another room.
Where did the newt go?
It seems to have just scurried away under one of the crates or barrels. Would you like to try and find
Can
it?
I track it?
Yeah, can I try and catch it?
Sure. Make a survival check, please.
We shall call him Dwayne, the sentient rock.
Takes having a pet rock to a whole new level.
Did you say nature or survival?
Survival.
That is a 15.
You look at the dusty floor and make out tiny imprints that would resemble the size and shape of a newt's tiny paws, and you follow them to one of the crates of barley and then shift it aside, and as the newt comes darting out, Ava quickly leans over and scoops it up in her wings.
Can I do an animal handling check to try and make it like just, friendly towards me?
Yeah,
so that
go
I can
ahead.
have a newt that lives in my pocket?
Go ahead.
Hey!
This is awesome, I like this.
See, whenever I try to tame animals, I should do this more often, because that was a nat 20.
Damn!
And it was a nat 20 that tamed Bluebeard.
As the captured newt struggles and squirms under Ava's feathers, you walk slowly up to it, reach into your backpack and pull out a couple of dried insects that you saved from the meal you ate in the Arakocra village, and one by one feed them to the newt. Eventually it calms down enough that it stops squirming, and you hold out your hand, palm down. Ava releases the newt, and it squirms up your hand, up your shoulder, up your arm, and then perches on your shoulder just under the hem of your hood.
You are a very special newt. You come from a rock. Okay, guys, let's go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Bob's just sort of like sitting there murmuring to herself and like going, it even acts like a real newt. I mean, is this a permanent thing? Will it turn back to a rock later on? How does this work?
Would you like to make an Arcana check, Robert?
Ah, hell, why not? Just watch me ruin the good time. 19.
So assuming that the spell that the trap cast was polymorph, the newt will turn back into a rock after an hour has passed.
No!
It's alright. I have a newt for a little bit.
But you don't have to. You
Hmm.
don't have to reveal this to Bulb if you don't want to, though. You can leave him.
I was gonna say, yeah. Boba goes to turn around to like tap him on the shoulder, looks at how happy he is with it, and just goes, "No, no."
You just see Bulb
Let him have
stroking the newt's back with a smile on
Let
his
him have
face.
this. He has a friend. I shall look at him.
So, what else would you guys like to do in this room? There are two means of exit. You can head through the door to the east, or you can attempt to clear the debris that blocks off the north, though there is quite a lot of it. Through conventional means, it will likely take a fair amount of time and effort and noise.
Hmm.
Can Bulb do some sort of check to determine just how long it will take?
Yeah, just a just a survival check will do.
Oh, that's a 6.
Yeah, it just appears to
These
be
are
a large bit of debris from a cave-in. It'll probably
You're
take...
like, it will take
Yeah,
time.
it will probably take
I wonder
at
if these
least...
rocks are also newts.
It'll probably take at least a couple hours of digging by hand, or alternatively, you could probably use one of the bombs you took from the Sabaton camp to just blow it away.
I feel like that will just let everything and everyone in this place know exactly what we're
That is
doing.
entirely true.
Yeah. Not notice with the door.
That seems like a terrible idea.
Bulb
Very
goes
well.
into a trance and goes, "Let's not do a ravine." Wait, what was that?
What was that? Yeah.
Sorry about that. Go away from me for a minute there.
Very well. You step up to the stone door to the east, and it appears to be a relatively normal door, save for what appears to be the image of a dinosaur of some kind carved into it. A cursory examination reveals that it doesn't appear to be trapped, and so you reach out for the handle and
Do
push
I
it.
recognize the dinosaur?
Yeah, it could be depending on the carving is worn with age. There's lost a bit of detail, but it could be either a Tyrannosaurus or a Velociraptor, some kind of bipedal carnivore with its tiny arms.
Big head and little arms.
There wasn't anything in the debris or anything, was there? Or just
Yeah,
No.
I was just about to ask, has any of us actually checked what's in the
Oh,
crates?
I mean, you can go ahead and make an investigation check.
I like looking at
Yeah, I'll
things.
try and do an
It's a
investigation
non-nat
check
20.
as well.
That's a non-nat 20.
Yeah, mine was a 13.
Spending
I
a
like
few
looking.
minutes searching the crates and barrels, you determine that they contain nothing more than old grain, most of it having turned mouldy and damp with age.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. 200 years old tends to...
Trained to make you high.
Yeah.
So you push
Alright.
open the door to the east and step into the next room. Finding this open room is almost empty, save for a stone well built in the very center. The water is still, and a thin layer of dust sits on the surface. The musk of stale water lingers in the air. To the north, there is another door, identical to the one you entered, and to the east, there is a stone staircase that leads up about 5 feet into another room.
Well, first things first, I would like to indicate everyone to be quiet and stay in the doorway, and I would like to try and stealth up the stairs just to poke my head in to see if anything is up there that will come out if we make any noise in this room.
Very well, please make a stealth check.
And because I'm walking, would that be using my elven
Yes,
boots?
with advantage.
Yay.
Hey, that was 2 19s plus whatever my stealth is. Plus 6, so 25. Jesus
Yep.
Christ.
You
Damn.
you carefully sneak up the staircase, emerging into the next room. A large cell with a single door dominates this chamber. A rusted drainage grate is set into the floor to the northeast, behind the bars. The smell of waste and decay emanates through the room. But you see no movement and no sign of life.
Okay, I go back and tell the others that at least in that room there is nothing.
Yep.
And I'll be right back, just letting you see out.
I want to inspect the well.
Very well, you may make an investigation check.
Well, what do we get?
That was a nut one.
Yeah, the water is quite murky, and you can't see
It
very
water.
far when you look
Yeah,
into it.
it's water.
Though it does
Water
appear to be
and
quite
cold.
deep. Someone else may attempt to check if you like.
What did we just check? Sorry.
Ava
Well.
was examining the well, but the water was too murky for her to see through because she got a nat 1.
And that one.
Okay.
Investigation, you say?
Yep.
Okay, I like investigation, unless I roll a 6.
Yep.
There's definitely water.
Bobbit, you just rest your arms on the side of the well and look down into the murky water. All you can tell is that the well appears to descend quite some way, but you can't make out anything precisely below the surface.
So I go, it's water, and Bobbit goes, deep
Yeah.
water.
Yep, that's right.
I concur. Robert concurs. It is definitely water. Probably really should consider using the scroll. to
Okay.
get,
Any further investigation checks on the well will be done with
Yeah.
disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Ooh. Fuck it, may as well.
why not?
God damn it, that was a 19 and a 1.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, we
And-
can.
This are water.
And so, with 3 of you having looked at the well and being unable to see anything under the water, you conclude that the well
water.
descends. The well descends quite some way down, but you have no way of knowing, at least from looking, what's at the bottom.
Can we throw
That's fair.
religion in?
You could.
I was gonna say, I do have a scroll that would give us a free spell. If you're getting like half an hour to write something, I'm pretty sure it's half an hour, I could get water breathing out of it. Actually, how long is it taking to write down spells? Okay, no crap, that takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it for 2 hours while I write this shit down.
And,
If someone's game enough, you could just jump into the well and swim down. See if it leads. See if there's anything under there.
mm.
Swimming is...
So,
Swimming...
I
Swimming.
could potentially change into something that can see underwater.
Yes.
Well, that would use one of the two
Wild
initiation
shapes
ca-
you have. That's correct.
Yeah.
That being said, are we also fixating on this because there is, on the map, a tunnel? Like,
Well,
in-game, our characters probably would have given
Yeah.
up.
Well, that said, this appears to be an indoor location. The fact that there's just a well sitting in a room probably indicates to you that it serves some purpose.
Oh, yes.
No
Yeah.
real one.
It would be a good idea to turn into something, but that being said, we also may need your wild shapes later, so...
Yep. So you just
It's a-
like to press on very well.
Yeah.
That appears to be the only interesting thing in this room. So you have 2 means of exiting. You can head through the cell block to the east, or you could try the stone door that exits from the north.
If you... This is me talking in character. If you guys want, I can try and look up those stairs the same way that I just checked the other room before.
Is that up or down?
Well, this staircase here leads up, and then the next one would lead down again to the north. So the cell block is slightly raised above the rest of the structure.
Up or down?
So I can... While you guys check out the door, I can go... see if there's anything in the other room. And
Sounds-
honestly, I'll only be 1 movement. I'll be close enough that I can dash back easily if I get in trouble.
Yep.
You'll be
So-
close enough to scream.
Yeah.
One of you guys are just going to move to the other side of the well, to the bottom of the stairs.
Yep, that's fair enough. So, Bulb, you would just like to sneak.
Yeah, do the same
Down.
thing that I did to check room 8.
Yep. That said,
So-
I will repeat that when you were in the cell block, you did see that there was a drainage grate embedded in the floor on the other side of the bars.
Okay. Well, I guess we can investigate room 8 before we decide where to go.
Yep.
If
Alright,
you guys
so
want to do that instead.
Yep.
Investigation.
So you all slowly walk up the stairs, finding yourselves in the cell block that smells of decay and despair. And you all notice the large drainage grate behind the bar. And
I don't like it.
yeah, it doesn't appear particularly notable, but you notice it's quite large. And what is your passive perception, guys?
What was that? Sorry, you cut out for me.
What is your passive perception, guys?
Passive perception 14.
17.
And 10.
Yep. So Zinhorn, you notice that around the edges of the grate appear to be a series of scratches.
Uh-huh. I point them out.
Wait, scratches as in someone's trying to claw this thing off?
Scratches as
I would say that something's climbing out.
it could be something climbing out, it could be something trying to get in, it could be as mundane as someone having opened the grate at some point.
Would Ava be able to sort of see more?
You can attempt a perception check if you'd like.
That is...
Okay, so you peer through the
Yeah,
bars,
17. Sorry.
and the grate appears to sit loosely in the groove, as if it has been removed and then clumsily replaced. In fact, you may all... If Ava, do you point this out?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'd like all of you to make insight checks.
That's unnatural 20.
14.
Wait,
so-
me too?
Yeah, you can make one if you want.
Oh, I was just asking if I needed to as well.
So,
11.
yep. So it occurs to you basically all at the same time that this grate appears to perhaps be a makeshift hiding spot by a prisoner who was locked in here a very long time ago. Perhaps as a place to store contraband or the like.
You guys all have that thought, but with all the forces, you should still see there going, so how does that 200-year-old thing really work? Still just constantly going back to that, just the, I should ask Mr. Stick. No, I already talked to him recently. I'll get grumpy if I ask him for anything else at the moment.
So, what would you like to do?
Can I have a look to see if the doorway into the
North?
prison part of this is
Oh, yeah.
unlocked?
You walk up to the cell door and place your hands
That's
on it, and it appears to be locked. However, the lock has rusted with age. It's quite flimsy.
Hey, Bobbert,
Yeah?
you want a lock that might actually open for you?
Do I have to try and be friends with this one? Because that'd be cool too. Or is this just a regular door?
I think this one's just a regular, buddy.
Someone goes up, takes a lockpick, and before she is, just sort of whispers going, It's okay, I'm a friend. It's nice to meet you. Waits for a response, nothing. Okay.
Bobbert, go ahead and make a Thieves' Tools check.
Okay. And that's a nat 20. So clearly
Yeah.
this lock just falls off the
Yeah.
second I poke it.
You insert your lockpick into the gate, into the lock, and you turn it, and you hear a metallic groan as the lock basically just snaps right off, and the door slowly swings open.
Huh. Yeah, it was so nice and just let me in. Hooray. Okay, doors open, everybody.
All right. So who'd like to enter the cell?
No thanks.
Ava doesn't want to.
Before I enter the doorway, can I do an investigation check to see if there's anything, or an Arcana check to?
No, I could do no,
Yes, you may attempt an Arcana check if you like. Oh, well, you could detect magic to find out if there's magic first. There's no visual signs of magic, but you can certainly attempt an investigation check.
Do you guys mind if I spend 10 minutes trying to find magic?
Say I'll just roll an Arcana check to see if I get anything out of it.
Yeah, that's what Rava used to do.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
Yep. So, what would you like to do, sorry?
All he wants to do to take.
Yep, so you just want to...
Arcana check. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to steal Bulb's thunder, but at the same time, you can't just keep stopping it. Like, if it's something that I can't get, then yeah, by all means, I'll wait. But
Yep.
keep stopping every 10 minutes to poke things. It's going to get very long.
Yep. Okay, so you're all fine with just waiting 10 minutes to,
I think I would stay doing it before the meet.
Oh, sorry,
not
what?
just detect magic because you said I can do an investigation, not an Arcana.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, my internet is doing really bad at the moment for some reason today. Probably because it's later in the day.
It's not been a great day for the internet.
Probably the weather.
Yeah, probably the weather.
It definitely hasn't helped. I'm messing with mine all days.
Yeah, it is raining.
That's okay. Either.
Yep, so Bulb wanted to do an investigate check. God, it's doing it again. If you bear with me, guys, I'm just going to turn my VPN off. That might help it. I'll be back in a sec. Sorry, listen.